What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Valero Verdict. On today's episode, I'm going to be breaking down my top 10 movies of 2024. I figured what better way to kick off the new year than reflect one more time on 2024 and some of the best films that I saw last year. I watched a little over 225 films last year, all brand new releases, and I've narrowed the list down to 10. Obviously, I'm like the rest of everybody. I do have a couple of honorable mentions that we'll dive into. But before we get into that, folks, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button, comment below, also subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. But without further ado, also let me know your top, 5, 10 movies of 2024 in the comments below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at my top 10 movies of 2024. First up, couple of honorable mentions that I would like to talk about for sure. All right. A couple of the honorable mentions are going to be as follows. Your Monster. This film to me, I loved it. I loved everything about it. It was definitely one of those movies that was unique. It was fresh. Melissa Barrera, Tommy Dewey, they had such incredible chemistry, right? They had so much good back and forth. It's such a great script. I loved everything about Your Monster. It is definitely Caroline Lindy is her script is magnificent. I can't rave enough about that movie. All right, another movie that has made my honorable mention list, and that's going to be My Old Ass. Maisie Staley, Aubrey Plaza, what what can I say about this movie that maybe I haven't already? Because I have talked about this movie ever since I saw it earlier this year. It's magnificent. I laughed, I cried, I laughed again. Megan Park's coming of age story. It's such a genre that has been redundant and done a million times, but Megan Park knocks this completely out of the ballpark. Like I was truly blown away by her ability to balance so many different emotions, so many different things in this story. And then, of course, Maisie Staley, who gave just one of my favorite performances of the year, like literally one of my favorite performances of the year. I was blown away by everything about this. And honestly, it was really higher on my list for quite some time, but it just didn't make kind of that final cut. But one other film before we're going to dive into my top 10 I want to talk about is Conclave. The funny thing about Conclave is the first time I watched this movie, I was not that much of a fan. I kind of watched it a little bit in passing, but Edward Berger really blew me away with his calculated direction of this movie. I think that it was just nothing short of remarkable. This entire cast, from Ralph to Isabel Rossellini, Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow, Carlos Diaz, it was remarkable. I just think that the script by Peter Strahan is fine tuned. It's got great pacing. Just everything about this movie is top notch. I believe it's sitting on Paramount Plus right now, maybe Peacock, one of the two, if you have not watched Conclave yet. All right, without further ado, let's jump right into my top 10 of 2024. My number 10 is going to surprise many of you, maybe not, but it is Smile 2. Okay, we watch pop star Sky Riley embark on the world tour where she starts experiencing terrifying, inexplicable events. I was not a fan of Smile 1. I thought it was just fine. However, what Parker Finn was able to create within this second film was nothing short of remarkable. It was just terrifying. It was a horror. It was just something that would just blew me away from start to finish. And Naomi Scott, we are not talking enough about how she delivered one of the 5 best performances in a lead role of 2024. She should be in the conversation for Best Actress at all award shows. She made my ballot as a Critics' Choice member. She made my ballot one of the 3 people I voted for in my lead actress. But yeah, Smile 2, unbelievable film. Just an overall unbelievable film. Now, my number 9, this one might become a little bit controversial here. No, sorry, that's not my number 8. It's a little controversial. Not my number 9. Definitely not controversial at all. And that is A Real Pain. I saw this film at the 2024 Sundance Film Festival last January, and I was just blown away by it. It was in my top 3 films throughout the entirety of the year. It follows this mismatched cousins as they tour Poland to honor their grandmother. Their adventure becomes complicated as old tensions resurface while exploring their family history. The film was written and directed first time director Jesse Eisenberg. Eisenberg obviously also stars opposite of Kieran Culkin, and their chemistry. It's like this buddy comedy type beautiful journey that you go on with these characters. But one of the more beautiful things about it was Eisenberg's subtle ability to balance the the comedy and then the heaviness of the script at the same time. It was impressive to me because it's first time watching him bring something to life like this, and his comedic roots are strong, but the way that he was able to capture your raw emotions throughout the entirety of this film was beautiful. All right, coming in at number 8, Joker Dos. This is the one that I was talking about that I believe people might get a ruffle in their feathers over, because for me personally, I really, really liked this film. I felt like it was far more underappreciated movies of 2024, and I think it will stand the test of time. And when people watch this in 5, 6, 7, 8 years, they're going to realize they let this film down. I thought Todd Phillips crafted a poignant script that dissect the world's obsession with Arthur Fleck. Joaquin Phoenix recaptured the magic from the original film as um, Arthur Fleck, aka the Joker. And to me, there was a lot of hate towards Lady Gaga's performance, and I really didn't understand the backlash behind her performance, because I felt like she was cold, calculated, and just absolutely mesmerizing. And then on the flip side of that, I felt like Hildur, she brought the beautiful score back into the equation, followed by Lawrence Shear's mesmerizing cinematography. Just absolutely lights out cinematography. But yeah, a film that I don't feel like is going to get nearly enough credit as it should, but Joker Dos comes in at number 8. My next film on the list, Exhibiting Forgiveness, another film that I saw back at the 2022 Sundance Film Festival. Titus Capers captured my attention from the opening credits, delivered one of the most beautiful films about overcoming your past that we've seen in a long time. Capers' script is well nuanced and balanced, and you watch this deconstructing of this man as he's trying to, you know, take that next step, maybe that next leap into the next phase of his life, but he's having those hard troubles of doing so because of this past that reignites when his father comes back in the picture with a phenomenal supporting performance by John Earl Jelks. Um, Andre Holland is the lead in this. I've been on record. Andre Holland gives one of my favorite performances of 2024. The performance is mesmerizing. It's lights out. It's not just the heavy moments that we see Andre Holland's character go through, but it's the subtle moments, it's the facial reactions, it's the, how he embodies this character, and it's one of the most beautiful films of the year. It's one of the most gut wrenching films of the year as well. But Titus Capera just not getting nearly enough credit for what he did and this magic that he created in this mesmerizing film, Exhibiting Forgiveness. Coming in number 6, probably the most recent film released addition to my list here, and that's A Complete Unknown. A big fan of Timothy Chalamet. Obviously, he's one of my favorite actors working. But James Mangold's ability to capture you with these aesthetically pleasing vibes as he delivered this story of a musical legend. Not a big fan of Bob Dylan myself. Not knew of him, knew a little bit of the story. This doesn't provide an in-depth look at who Bob Dylan was, but just this small encaptured era, which I thought was fascinating that he dove into just this small time frame. Because to me, if you go deeper into the roots of it, you try to capture so many more aspects of the story. You're drawing it out for a further and longer film. But to me, Timothy Chalamet should be well on his way to his first Academy Award win, because he embodies Bobby Dylan in such a beautiful way. But then you capture how he walked, how he talked, and then how he sang. Timothy Chalamet sings. He plays the harmonica. He plays the guitar. He just brings this it oozes this again, I feel like one of the big things I keep saying about this movie is it's such a vibe. It's such a vibe, and I love the vibes of it, and of course, the supporting cast, Monica Barbaro, Ella Fanning, and Edward Norton help just it's a masterful creative film that I love what James Mangold did here. Coming to number 5, I have Amelia Perez. I have ranted and raved about Jacques Dord's just daring and bold movie. It's one of the most unique experiences that I had in 2024 in such all the positive ways. This movie captures your attention from go, and it's led by two groundbreaking performances that are in your face with Carla Sofia Gascon and Zoe Saldana, and then some supporting players in Selena Gomez and Adriana Paz. They all won me over because the amount of heart that they put in this project, you can feel the the levels of what they wanted to produce and bring to this film, and I love that. I love when you're watching a film and you can see that the art instilled passion in their performances, and Zoe Saldana just holy cow, just unreal performances. There's several musical numbers in this movie that she just is lights out. It's just such a great performance. There's a reason why she's a front runner for supporting actress. Carlos Sofia Gascon, who's just transitioned within the film from mob boss to heartfelt, just gut wrenching, just absolutely mesmerizing. A force to be reckoned with. Somebody that I hope this delivers the next project in her life, and she gets to continue to do what she's very good at. Selena Gomez took on a performance of something that she didn't have to. She didn't have to do this movie. You know what I mean? It's in the world of remakes, comic book movies, and all these things, you can grab and just be a safe project. Even sometimes you can look at Only Murders in the Building. It's kind of a safe project. This she tackled this and even all but in a small role, just really left a lasting impression that really was beautiful. The music, the score, the FX, the visual effects on this are mesmerizing. I thought to think that this entire movie shot on a soundstage, I'm still blown away by that. I can't believe that. Moving into number 4, Nosferatu. Another recent addition to this film. Robert Eggers, my goodness. Um, I just I cannot rave enough about this film. I highly recommend checking it on the big screen. Lily Rose Depp, by far the best performance of 2024. That might be on both sides. I'm prejudiced to another film we'll talk about in just a few minutes. And there's a performance in this, but holy cow, she just in. I just don't even know the words. I can't even really come up with the words to say about Nosferatu and Lily Rose Depp's performance. Her facial work, her facial expressions. She has to sell the horror of Count Orlok with her face, and there's several sequences where it's just nothing, no words, no words, just mesmerizing you. You're just engulfed into what she's doing and everything that she's doing. I love Nosferatu. Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok. It just haunted to me. It'll just haunt you for days after you see this film. But it's a technical masterpiece from top to bottom. The score, the cinematography, the production, everything about this movie is damn near perfect. I love this movie. And Robert Eggers, just best film to date. Fantastic direction. Fantastic direction. Moving to number 3, a film that I don't think gets enough love. I've watched this film 5 times now and have loved it every single time. The fact that Alex Garland is not in the conversation for Best Director still blows me away. His script and his direction are easily some of the best of the year. Another fantastic ensemble, star-making turn by Kaylee Spaney. This still is such a phenomenal film. Civil War captures you from the beginning and never lets go. It rides a fine line that I think is daring, and I think a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people. I think a lot of people saw maybe the reality of this film and weren't as just ready to jump into the film because of how it mimicked the modern day culture of some of the things they were facing. But Civil War is amazing. Period. End of story. Ramil Ross, Nickel Boys. Um, I, one of the most unique, bold visionaries we have seen in quite some time. He delivers a spectacle with his masterclass direction. It's shot from this first person's perspective that is so unique, so fresh. It's filled with heart. It's with filled with hope, and the story is gut wrenching. It's funny. There's elements that are just so just charming to it, and it's crazy how he balanced that charming with the honest, disgusting, you know what I mean, backdrop of this story. But man, just an incredible ensemble, incredible movie. Like, if you have a chance to watch this, you need to. I loved it. Coming in at number one, Dune Part Two has been my number one movie for consecutive of 10 months. Never wavered. Speaking, I gave two films in 2024 5 stars: Nickel Boys and Dune Part Two. There's the only two films in of the little over 225 that I saw this year that I gave 5 stars to, and Dune Part Two definitely deserved it. To me, top to bottom, the best cast of 2024. Top to bottom, the best script, best direction, best everything. I thought Timothy Chalamet turned one of the best performances I have ever seen. There's that one scene that's going around. Every time I see it on Twitter, I'm going to retweet it until I 150. I did not love Dune Part One. I didn't love the first one, and I wasn't very excited about Part Two. But Denis took all my complaints about the first film and delivered everything I wanted and more. Denis is one of the best working directors. I saw this film on February 20th of this year and has not left my number one spot since. Timothy Chalamet, Austin Butler, Zendaya, the list goes on and on. This film is mesmerizing. It's powerful. It's moving. I think that there's a heavy undertone that people aren't appreciating about this story. If you rewatch this movie, just watch it. Listen to the story. Follow the story along with Paul and tell me you don't see some of the reflections of society that we're dealing with today. But folks, that is it. That is my top 10 movies of 2024. Let me know in the comments below what your top 10 movies of 2024 are. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and let's have a great 2025.